Hi, it's the Irish Gypsy here to give you your January 2016 mid-month reading. I continue to use the Gilded Tarot deck, and even though we're going to be focusing more on the last half of this month rather than the month overall, I'm still going to be using the same 8-card layout so as to give it an in-depth a look as possible at what the remainder of the month might be bringing to us. My words are stumbling just a little bit today. I've been doing readings all day. So, a special thank you to those of you who have been keeping me so busy with personal readings these last few months. It's been an honor and a pleasure, and I won't forget any one of you or your stories. Thank you so very much. And a continued thanks to those of you who watch and listen and subscribe to my channel. Your support and your feedback have been very positive and uplifting, so thank you so very much for that. These are general readings, so if they don't apply or resonate the same with everyone who watches them, I suggest you also check your rising and your moon sign as well. If you are interested in a personal reading, you can click on the About button on my channel's homepage, and that will give you a little more detail about myself, the services I offer, and my contact information, which is Maggie_McGuire@gmail.com. And I am also offering overviews and outlooks for the year 2016 in the form of 60 and 90-minute readings. So again, if you're interested in those, just click on the About button and you can email me. So let's get right into this. This reading is for Capricorn for January 2016, mid-month. Capricorn, January 2016, mid-month. January. What does the remainder of January hold for our Capricorn? Okay, we begin with the Five of Wands, followed by the Seven of Swords, the Temperance card, followed by the Eight of Pentacles, the Chariot, followed by the High Priestess, and the World, followed by the Wheel of Fortune. And as your overall theme or general feeling of the month, we have the Lovers. My goodness, I don't think I have ever seen a layout with this many major arcana. Capricorn, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of 9 cards are major arcana. It looks like you are totally being led and cradled and supported and advised this month by the fingers of the divine, or whatever your spiritual structure is. So let's take a look. Okay, we begin with the Five of Wands, followed by the Seven of Swords. Now, Capricorn, it looks like you hit the middle of the month, although the timeline of the card says, I always like to say, it's not clearly definitive in beginning and endings. This could represent a feeling that's going throughout the entire month and into a little of February as well. But we are focusing more on the last half of January. So we begin with the Five of Wands. Now, the Five of Wands can represent wands, the element being that of fire and air, and wands is a suit that points to change, movement, action, power. It can also point to creativity, inspiration, career, and projects. So Capricorn, it looks like somewhere in the middle of this month, which is right about now, it looks like you find yourself in a position where you're feeling like you're either in competition with someone, or there's some sense of conflict with the people around you, is what I'm feeling. The Five of Wands points to, it can point to friendly competition, but it also points to a sense of conflict or a feeling with conflicts. And I'm feeling like it's conflict with more than one person around you. It feels like you're in the middle of some kind of conflict. And again, for some of you, this could just be competition of some kind, but it feels a little sharper than that to me. The Five of Wands also points to, really the sense that I'm getting is that I'm getting kind of a sense of circular conflict. It feels like something, this conflict that you're involved in or embroiled in somehow, is something that feels like it's been going on for a while and just keeps going around and around and around. There's kind of a circular feel to it. Now, it's paired with the, now, I have to say too, again, because wands can point to career and projects. I think for some of you, although maybe a smaller portion of you, you're involved with a group of people in some kind of project, or you're working together with a group of people on something, and there just doesn't seem to be, it looks like there's kind of a butting of heads in this situation. It looks like it feels like there's some kind of circular conflict, and people just aren't able to compromise and see eye to eye on something. Now, it's paired with the Seven of Swords. Swords, the element being that of air, and swords is a suit that points to our thoughts, our ways of thinking, our perspective, reasoning, logic. The Seven of Swords I have heard referred to as the thief card. As you can see, this shows a man who has snuck into somebody's home and has made off with a bunch of swords and is leaving, sneaking away and looking back over at his shoulder with kind of a sneaky, smirky look. There's sometimes is I get a rather slippery, sneaky, deceitful feel off this card. He hasn't made off with everything, but he's made off with quite a lot. So this card can also, depending on the placement and the cards around it, can also represent having to think a little outside the box and be a little more clever in regards to something. And I'm actually getting that. Feeling off this combination of cards. I think whatever this conflict is, Capricorn, that you find yourself embroiled in, I think that because it seems to be going around and around without any solution, any apparent solution or resolution of some kind, I think this combination of cards is speaking to taking a step back and re-examining it and figuring out a more clever way to bring some resolution to the situation, a smarter, I almost wanted to say manipulative, but a smarter way to maneuver in this situation where it isn't the same argument going around and around. This feels very specifically oriented towards someone or a group of someone's, because I really am getting the sense of you, Capricorn, being involved with a group of people that are just in conflict. People can't agree. They can't see eye to eye. And perhaps this card, the Seven of Swords, can also, for some of you, feel like one of the reasons why this conflict keeps continuing is because you feel like somebody's either threatening something of yours or trying to take something away or taking more of the credit. But I think the advice here too is to take a step back and be a little smarter in this situation. Try and find a little more clever way to maneuver in this situation and find a sense of compromise. So that's kind of interesting. It feels almost separate from the rest of this reading, so that message is going out to somebody who needs to hear it. Now we follow that with the Temperance card, Major Arcana card, beautiful card. Excuse me. Paired with the Eight of Pentacles. Now, the Temperance card is a lovely card, and it speaks exactly to that, temperance. This is a card that points to balance, to moderation, to patience above all, and having the kind of sense of inner peace that comes from being really grounded within who you are, and that comes from being able to balance things in harmony, and just a sense of integration. It shows a woman who is balancing opposite extremes with just that in perfect equal balance and in perfect harmony. This speaks to patience. This speaks to moderation. This speaks of doing things a little more thoughtfully and a little more methodically, and not being swayed one way or the other. And I think following the Five of Wands and the Seven of Swords, this is a very strong piece of advice to again, take a step back and practice a little bit of balance and moderation, because it feels like things are kind of seesawing from one thing to the other. And I also think that whatever this project is, Capricorn, if it's an actual project or an entrepreneurial thing or something that you're working on with a group of people, maybe trying to start something up, or it could even just be an issue or a situation at work or within your own personal community. It feels like what's called for is more of a sense of balance and moderation, and of trying to be more thoughtful and use your thoughts in a different way to bring resolution and some peace and negotiation in this situation. And I think it's going to take a fair amount of work as well, because we have Temperance paired with the Eight of Pentacles. Now, the Eight of Pentacles is the card I like to call the worker bee card. Pentacles, the suit, the element being that of earth, and Pentacles is a suit that points to very grounded, practical things in our tangible world. Typically, money, finances, resources, property, assets, things of that nature. It shows a man who's sitting at his desk. There are seven pentacles dancing in the air above him, and he is hard at work on the eighth one. It looks like he's been there for quite some time. I'm just noticing too, there's cobwebs in the background. Wow, I never really noticed that before. And you can see in the background too, out the window, that the sun is setting and his candles are burning. Perhaps some of you have been burning the candles at both ends. And it looks like he's been working for quite some time, and he's been very diligent. And I think that this situation, whatever this is that you've been working on, and I think for some of you this is going to play out as something work related, um, some kind of project or cause, something that you're involved in with a group of people. And it looks like it's been kind of hard going right now. There's a lot of compromise. There's not a lot of compromise where there needs to be. And I believe this is the advice of this combination of cards is speaking again to moderation, balance, and continuing to work. Put one foot in front of the other. Continue to keep doing what you're doing. There may be a sense that oh, this is this is out of control, or this is getting too hard, or I don't know what to do. This combination of cards is speaking to hold your course, keep doing what you're doing, keep putting one foot in front of the other. Whatever work that you've been doing, keep putting putting the work and the investment of yourself and your time and perhaps even your resources into this thing, because I'm telling you from the looks of the rest of the reading, it's really going to pay off. The Eight of Pentacles speaks to that. It speaks as somebody who's working very hard on building a foundation, and he's being very successful at it. And this is just going to require some more patience, some more balance, some more moderation. I'm sorry, Capricorn. I've been doing readings all day, and my words are just starting to stumble. So stay the course. That's what the advice is. Now, that is followed by the Chariot, another major arcana card, and the High Priestess. This is a very interesting combination. The Chariot, this major arcana card speaks of harnessing opposite forces and bringing them together and making them work for you in a way that propels you forward. And again, I feel like this is all in the beginning, I kind of felt like the first part of the reading was separate from the last half of the reading, but I'm kind of getting the flow now. I think this is directly related to this project, this thing you're working on with this group of people. So for those of you for whom this doesn't resonate, I'm sorry. You'll have to check your other signs because this feels very specific. So the Chariot speaks of harnessing these opposite forces and bringing them together, I beg your pardon, bringing them together in a way that propels you forward and I think creates forward motion in this project, this this thing that you're working on with these other people. And there seems to be a lot of disagreement or people just not seeing eye to eye, and there needs to be more of a sense of negotiation and compromise. And the Chariot speaks of pulling different things together, being very smart and very intuitive about how to pull these different things together and help them to work together to propel this thing forward. And I think it's about being a little more clever, again, and being more balanced and patient and trying to help people work together, and being more thoughtful in this process. The Chariot also gives a sense of speed, too. So I'm thinking somewhere maybe around the third week of this month, which would be, I guess, next week. There also seems to be a sense of things picking up speed and things moving along a little bit better. The Chariot, the sense, too, is that it's a great forward motion, and that it's about things building up speed and things moving a little bit quicker. So I think that whatever this conflict that you have within this group of people, or whatever isn't, feels like it, just isn't fitting together all that well around the beginning of it. It looks like temperance, patience, and keeping at it is the name of the day, and it looks like things are going to start to come together, and things are going to be picking up speed. Now, the Chariot is paired with the High Priestess, which is all about your intuition. This is the High Priestess is a very intelligent, deeply intuitive person. This speaks to an individual who knows the path that she or he is going to tread, because she has absolute faith and confidence in her own sense of intuition and knowing which is the right step to take, what path is the right path to take. The high priestess is someone also who's very observant, somebody who sees everything, but doesn't necessarily speak everything. This is someone who often keeps their own counsel, but is somebody also who deeply intuitive, someone who and I think the advice of this card too is to emulate or manifest some of the traits of this high priestess, to go within. It looks like the cards are saying that if you, in order to help propel this thing forward and to help everybody work together and come into alignment a little bit more, as the chariot is speaking of, that I think that if you take a look at the situation, and there's a sense of actually trusting in yourself, trusting in your own knowledge and wisdom and experience in this thing, and trusting in your own intuition. There's a sense of being observant too, of taking a step back and taking another look at the situation, because you're going to know what to do to help us bring this thing together and bring the people that are working on this thing together and help propel it forward with a lot more force and a lot more speed and a lot more success. Because at the end of it all, towards or at the end of January, or maybe even going into February a little bit, we have a wonderful combination, absolutely beautiful, successful combination of cards. So for those of you who are trying to start up something new, maybe some of you are trying to start up your own business, or do something on the side. There's something kind of creative that you're 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 working on starting up together, maybe with other people. And it's been kind of a bit of a struggle. It looks like if you stay the course, you practice moderation, temperance, you keep doing what you're doing, keep at it. Try to find a way to be a little more thoughtful and a little more clever about how to maneuver things a little bit better, so that you can bring these apparently opposing, conflicting things together and make them actually work for you. Trust in your own intuition. Trust in your own gut feeling. It looks like at the end of the day, we have the World card paired with the Wheel of Fortune, all in the upright position. The World card speaks of a sense of accomplishment, being at a place where you feel a great sense of accomplishment and of achievement and of fulfillment. The analogy I always get with the World card, and even though it is the last of the major arcana cards in the tarot deck, I don't really get the feeling that it's the end of a road or the end of a cycle, but I feel like it's the place you get where you've poured just an awful lot into something. You've climbed up to the top of this mountain, not to say that there aren't other mountains to climb, but you've climbed up to the top of this particular mountain. It's been a long, hard journey. You've poured an awful lot of yourself into it, and you're at the top, and you're taking a look back, and you just feel this enormous sense of achievement, an enormous sense of accomplishment. You know, you're looking at the trail and all the struggles and all the challenges and everything that you had to overcome and everything that you had to do to get to where you are, and you just feel such a sense of satisfaction, accomplishment, and fulfillment. The world is at your feet. You feel very whole and harmonious and integrated, and just uh, highly satisfied. Achievement, fulfillment, accomplishment, success. And it is paired with the Wheel of Fortune in the upright, which is an absolutely beautiful combination of cards to get. The Wheel of Fortune, is always turning. As I like to say, the wheel is always turning. And for some people, it appears to be on the upswing, and for other people at different times, it appears to be on the downswing. But the wheel is always turning. And in this particular situation, Capricorn, it looks like at or by the end of January 2016, or maybe going into a little bit of beginning of February, whatever this thing is that you've been working on, you've been at it, there's been just a lot going on, and it feels like a lot of conflicting, maneuvering and manipulating and trying to pull things together and make them work, but you keep at it, and at the end of the day, you have success. The Wheel of Fortune is turning. In the upswing for you, it means unexpected good fortune, it means success, it means good luck, and paired with the world, it looks like whatever this is going to pan out to be quite successful for you, and everything that you put into it is really going to pay off. And I have a feeling with this Wheel of Fortune in the upright, it's going to end up paying off for you in an unexpected, positive way that you didn't expect. Perhaps it's going to be bigger, better, something more than what you were expecting and anticipating. So, kudos to you. That's wonderful. Now, the card that you got as your overall theme and general feeling of the month is the Lover's card. Now, if this were read more as a love or relationship reading, And I suppose it could resonate that way for some of you out there, although I'm really not picking up anything of that sort in this reading. Um, but you do have the Lover's card. Now, the bottom line foundational meaning of this card is the original, in the early tarot decks, this was not even called the Lover's card, it was called the Choice. And that's really what it represented. And it depicted a man standing in front of two women, or two women standing in front of a man, and there was a choice that needed to be made. So as the overall theme and general feeling for these last couple of weeks of January 2016, Capricorn, I'm not really sure actually how this is going to resonate for some of you. It looks like in reference to this thing that you're working on, that it feels like there's so many conflicting energies or personalities involved in that are difficult at the beginning of it, or somewhere around the middle of the month. The Lover's card may resonate for you in that there needs to be a choice made in how you decide to do something and how you decide to continue down the path, or further this project somehow. And this card also speaks of unions too, of things coming together in a very harmonious way, and of things coming together and fitting and working in a way that goes beyond just what you can see on the surface. For instance, if this were a lover relationship reading, this Lover's card would symbolize a union between two people that had a touch of the divinity about it. That was a union that went beyond just, the physical or chemical attraction to each other. So it looks like whatever this project is, and whatever conflicts it looks like you're going to be resolving towards the end of it, it looks like it's going to work out in a very harmonious, integrated sort of way. And for those of you for whom this represents having to make choices to see how you can pull this thing together to work in a better and more expansive and faster sort of way, it may have to do with making decisions about how you work with these people, or the people that are working together on this project, however that resonates for you. Again, this reading feels very specifically oriented towards a certain group of Capricorns, because it feels very specifically oriented on some project, some business, some entrepreneurial thing, some actual thing that you're working on with more than one person. So that's pretty interesting. For those of you for whom this resonates, please ping me and let me know what this is, if it resonates for you, because I'm quite curious. The cards are not pointing specifically to me as to what it is, only it just feels like if it's not in your job or career, it's some kind of project or entrepreneurial thing. It could be a cause or an organization you're working with. But I'd love to know if it resonates for you, so please feel free to email me or message me on YouTube. So I hope this resonated for you, or gave you a little bit of wisdom and insight on some potential paths you might take through this. And we'll see how this pans out in February next month. And I will see you then for February 2016's reading. And as always, Capricorn, I wish you joy, peace, and a happy life. And thank you for watching. See you next month.